Epidemiologist and World Health Organization advisor, Professor Mary-Louise McLaws joins me now. Professor, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be back, Patricia.
What do you see as the biggest logistical challenges with this vaccine rollout, and will Australia make this deadline?
There are a couple of logistical challenges, even without this solidarity between countries looking as if it's fraying at the edges, with the EU making noises about nationalism. And one of the challenges in Australia is that we're only going to get about 80,000 doses of Pfizer each week, which will then slow down the vaccination of our Phase 1A frontline and vulnerable. So that means that it will take about 17 weeks, just with a quick calculation that you have to be vaccinated twice. That'll take about 17 weeks, which is, just over 4 months. So the country wanted everybody to be vaccinated by the end of October. Frontline workers need to be vaccinated rapidly and much earlier than that. So that's already slowing it down. Then, of course, the authorities have sensibly started to recruit lots of different people that can safely do the vaccine, such as the pharmacy, GPs, and possibly even community nursing staff in mass vaccination venues. But nevertheless, the other problem that we have is not vaccine hesitancy, it's actually vaccine supply. Because we're now seeing that we were expecting 3.6 million doses of AstraZeneca, but we may be getting half of that at the moment. And so that means that perhaps our local production of AstraZeneca needs to be ramped up fairly urgently so that we can all get vaccinated as soon as possible.
What do you make of the EU's plans to tighten rules on exports of coronavirus vaccines produced in the region, which includes Pfizer and AstraZeneca?
Well, one can only interpret it as nationalism, and this is everything that Dr. Tedros warned us about last year. And it's as if his worst nightmare has come to fruition. Just in the last 7 days, the EU, the European area, and the Americas have accounted for 85% of all cases and mortalities just in the last 7 days. So what that tells you as an outbreak manager is that they've failed to use low-tech control, social distancing, masking, stay-at-home orders when the numbers go up, and then moving towards that more higher tech of testing and tracing. But now it looks as if they are just fully reliant on the vaccine. And so they've been caught short because they're now out of control. The numbers are going up. And I think they're becoming far more protective over the supply than they should have. They've also got a real problem of the new variances around. So the one that emulated from the UK and South Africa. And of course, they haven't been using quarantine hotels or protecting their borders at all. So the likelihood of any new variant coming in is high. And at WHO, we were given updates on Thursday about the new variants, 3 of them. And honestly, they are frightening. They have up to 70% more infectivity than the wild strains that we are seeing in most communities now. So the EU, I imagine, are on high alert and are becoming very protective of their supply.
On the WA lockdown that we're seeing, is that the right decision, and should we be bracing for these kind of short, hard lockdowns when we see a case?
It's absolutely the right decision from an outbreak management perspective because 50% of our cases in Australia, and this is reflected worldwide, are in people, adults around 20 to 39 years of age. They're highly mobile. In Australia, they usually have to have 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet because they're underemployed. So that means they meet a lot of people. And the average person that may be fully employed might meet 10 people, where somebody that's doing 2 jobs and some after-hours work may meet more people. So putting the state in, or the area under lockdown, buys the contact tracers time so that any contact of that young man don't become, another source for a third generation. And if he does have one of these new variants, the likelihood of him spreading it, even when he's in that what we call a serial interval, which is the period between the time that he's acquired it and the time he shows symptoms, that's become, we think, maybe a little shorter for the infectivity. So this young man may have inadvertently been able to pass it on. But let's hope that the authorities have reacted as fast as they possibly could.
Thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure. Stay well.
That's epidemiologist